Gentlemen.
It's really good seeing you guys again.
It's been so long.
It's been,
it's been one day.
23 and a half hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
The problem is we have nothing to chit chat about.
What are you talking about? Well, there was 12 minutes of chit chat yesterday.
I know.
That was rough.
Way too much for us.
Doug, do you remember why there was 12 minutes of chit chat?
Yeah, Sam was late. Our guest was late.
Oh, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't late at all.
Everyone's forgotten about this watching this episode a week later.
I'm not going to throw my teammate under the bus here, Dylan.
Oh, now that's the line. That's the line.
Not this time. Okay. Not this time.
Yeah, so Peter and I submitted our application for Syndicate yesterday. We're really excited about it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I feel like I needed a British person.
Yeah, you needed a new partner in MGA number 17. I get it.
17th time lucky. Yeah.
Guys, how do you think Stable's doing? Or Peter, Dylan, what do you think's up over there?
Well, I think we're gonna have some announcements from a company that may have purchased them. So I don't know. We'll see. I think it's gonna come soon.
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about. Actually, I'm wearing another hat next week at Target Markets, helping out my bros.
All right,
my bros over there. Who are the people that were? Who was the capital and the front? Who are those people behind Stable? I forget. What were their names?
So hard to remember. So hard to remember, Doug.
This is what happens when we have nothing to chit chat about. I'm just trying to stir shit up.
Yeah, you do it well too.
Should we have them on? Should we have them on the show?
Please, God, please don't do it. Don't do it, Doug. There's this little devil on Doug's shoulder, except for Doug's devil's the size, so he's straddling his neck. He's fully on, legs over, holding his head, shouting things in his ear, and Doug sometimes listens.
Just that one.
That's quite the image to start the show.
Yeah,
no, it's a bit depraved, Dylan.
Yeah, well, there's a little teen angel floating around there too, but yeah,
maybe.
You don't listen.
What else is going on? Well, we're waiting for. Do we want to make sure we sent the right link to our guest, Peter?
No,
I abstain from responsibility on this one.
No, listen.
One of the rare guests that Doug has invited, not me.
There's a rumor going around that this guy that's coming on is Satoshi.
Wow.
Yeah,
we do say that about a lot of guests as well. To be fair,
do we?
Yeah.
Out of all the guests that it could be, aren't we thinking that might be Zuck?
Not Zuck. It's not. It's this guy. I know for a fact, actually.
Well, it's interesting that we have two potentials at Accelerant.
Yeah. What's in the water over there at Accelerant?
Bitcoin?
Maybe that's what's backing it off.
Maybe that's how they make it.
Hey, are you guys going to go to any World Cup games, matches?
No.
Dylan?
No.
Peter? You're not going to support England?
From a distance.
Yeah. Should we think about getting KNVB to sponsor the show? Maybe throw some orange color hues into the mix.
I mean, if they're giving us money, I'll wear the orange. Just to be clear, yeah.
We struggle to get anyone to sponsor the show. Just for you want to
struggle or don't try. There's a total difference.
I feel like we're not trying very hard.
Bit of both.
We're trying very hard not to get sponsors.
Yeah, that's
usually what we do.
We want our creative freedom. They would make us actually do something real work.
Do you know one thing I also failed to do for the show? So Doug sent me across. I don't know if you sent this just to me or you sent this to me and Dylan. The should we sign up for this award thing that was happening?
Oh yeah.
I just completely ignored that and did nothing.
This is the second award I wanted us to sign up for. The first was I wanted us to each nominate each other in a circular fashion for the InsurTech America Awards as a joke. And Dylan thought I was serious. He's like, "Why do you want me to?"
Oh no, I knew it. You were not. Yeah.
No. One option instead of forwarding it to Dylan and myself is you could just complete it.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, he didn't want to. He didn't want to.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of work.
Everyone knows that who's listening. Everyone knows Doug would not do that.
So, Doug, quick question: if there was going to be an award for MJ podcasts, we'd have to go up against this next guest.
Ooh, true. And we would win. I mean, just there's three of us versus one.
You know, he's going to
Although
jump out of the backstage right now. He's just going to leave.
He's listening. He's listening in.
Oh, I know. That's why he's going to leave. Why are we doing
he's
this?
too nice of a guy. He's too nice of a guy.
There's one area of AI that we all agree on, which was the summary of podcasts that Dylan sent across. You want to refresh our memory on that, Dylan? What AI friends thought about?
No, wait. What did I say? I've sent you way too many things.
You asked AI, different AIs,
yes.
who the best podcast was.
Yes, I got what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah, for MGAs. And
yeah,
it was a resounding age of the MGAs.
And I believe that was Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, and then Google's response, both in their search engine plus their built-in Gemini component, which gave two slightly different answers.
Yeah, guys, we're hot shit.
Yeah,
we are.
If you don't believe us, go ahead and ask your AI right now.
That's what the kids say this now. Hot shit.
Do they?
Yeah. Well, Nelly said it originally, but it's cycled back around.
Well, Nelly is in the rapper.
Yeah, Peter.
Oh,
the late '90s, early aughts rapper, who also is thinking about sponsoring the show.
Who very rarely gets a mention on insurance podcasts.
But you know when he becomes the guest for the concert for ITC. It's coming. Yeah. It's just a matter of time at this point.
Do we know who the musical guest is this year? Has it been announced?
I don't think it has. But we can maybe talk to one of one of the great guys who's found it. I mean, we have a couple options there. They're all friends of the show. They try to distance themselves from us, but that's okay.
Keep coming after them.
No
restraining order yet. Yeah. All right, guys, let's get our shit together.
All right,
we got
serious now.
We have a high-profile guest from a very large, respectable organization, and we'll have to get everything we and he says approved by their PR.
That won't happen.
Team. This is a new friend, but already a long friend. This is a guy that might, like we said, be Satoshi. We don't know yet. We're going to find out. He did. It's a known fact. He was part of a crypto MGA. We're gonna listen to him talk about that. He's a great guy. He loves steak, and I know because I'm listing facts that I know about him and then peppering in some potential opinions. He does love steak. I've seen him eat it. We're going to learn about other things that he likes. He's from Texas, from Houston, where it's humid and hot. I've never been, but he told me that, so I feel like I can relay that on. Guys, he also has his own podcast.
What's it about?
It's about MGAs and MGAs servicing other MGAs and helping the ecosystem out. We're going to have him talk about that. I saw a live show. That's our live show was born out of him doing a live show. And I saw that last week. It was great. Huge audience. There's like 300, 400 people in the audience. I'm not joking. Wow. Guys, let's bring this guy on. This is TJ from Accelerant.
Hi, I'm Satoshi.
Whoa, look at that. He's come prepared.
What'd you make of that intro, TJ?
Beautiful intro. I'm very low profile. You said I was high profile, and everything else was accurate.
Everybody knows who you are, TJ. I walked in. I had the pleasure of hanging out with TJ last week in a very lovely island setting, and I walked into the hotel, and I kid you not, behind the check-in, there was an employee of the year picture. It was TJ. So the guy's everywhere.
That was my cousin, DJ.
Man, TJ, what's going on? I like your background. I like all the stuff you got going on. One, where did you get that sign? Because we are going to straight up copy it. Your neon sign. We copy everything we do on this show.
I've got a guy. Hopefully it's okay that I'm co-advertising my podcast.
You absolutely.
It's okay. It's okay because we'll edit it out.
Just edit it out. I have a guy. I can put you in touch with the guy.
All right.
Wait, is it the guy that does all the hilarious stuff online and selling signs in China? Is it that guy?
I love that guy. I don't know that it's not that guy. I have a guy who might have a guy. So
okay, all right.
Give me the first guy though.
All right, sounds good. Give me the first guy.
Yeah.
What's the China thing, Dylan?
Oh, it's probably going to get us canceled if we even discuss that we think there's some hilarity there. So we're going to leave that one alone. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a viral guy, gets you going, and then he like slides in right when
He
you
does. Yeah.
expect it and starts pitching his LED.
He's a slick salesman is what I'm trying
All
to
right,
say.
we'll have links in the show notes to
Sounds
his
great.
videos.
Unlikely.
So TJ, I'm learning a couple new things based on your background. One, you have a degree from somewhere, which I didn't know. I should have looked at your LinkedIn. It probably is.
I just printed it.
Two,
I just printed it.
dude, you got a snowboard. It's a snowboarder guy, right?
Wait, it's not just from some college. It's from the University of Texas.
Oh,
So
Are you a Longhorn as well?
actually, no, I'm not. Just to be clear, it was actually my grandfather, and he actually
family.
created the rifle team there. So
Interesting.
a really random thing, but very Texas. So.
TJ, were you on the rifle team?
I was not on the rifle team.
I don't know they
I was
have a
on
rifle
the-
team anymore. That's like it seems like an old thing, but got some pretty cool pictures.
No, I stuck to the Friday night crew.
There you go. So you're doing a little snowboarding. It looks like you're playing a little guitar, wooing. Met TJ's lovely wife last week as well. And so wooed a lovely lady with that guitar, I guess. Maybe, do you want to play a song for us a little bit?
Maybe to close.
I mean, I could do some stuff, but I don't know if we have enough time for that.
We should do a musical episode where just like people that have musical talents come on and they play. They're
Can
doing
we say that for
sitcoms
our
do.
after hours show?
Yeah. It's when
You guys need a new
HBMG
jingle.
jumps the shark.
What's frustrating for me, Doug, is we can't do any of this background analysis of you because you literally just have a bed behind you. That's every time. Every
I know.
episode. we
Sometimes
do
a
nothing.
blurry dog
Same.
right about there.
Sometimes a blurry dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's your dog?
I don't know. Maybe he died. Not sure.
Lazy. Anyway, TJ, I heard
Moving
it
on.
was maybe a birthday last week too.
Oh yeah.
You guys
TJ's
know
birthday.
everything.
You're
Gotta
like
do your
what,
research.
25 now, 26?
Something like that.
Okay.
Add a few.
All
Add a
right.
few.
All right, guys, let's try to get serious here. Let's get serious.
All right,
We only got TJ's time is valuable. We got to make sure we like eke every ounce out here. So TJ started and we're part of a crypto MGA. Let's start there first. We're gonna get into what you're doing at Accelerant and your podcast, but I wanna hear about the MGA. And I also had a similar we'll see how you describe your MGA. Dylan's MGA that I was a part of was a failure. Maybe because Dylan was leading it. I don't know. We're not sure yet, but
It's so weird.
I don't
Who
think
was his founder?
that was yours, but like you learned lessons
learned.
and we've talked about those. And you actually put it well the other day where you're like, might have been a bit too early for what we're working on. But let's get into like how you got into that MGA, because I think it's probably more the product you were selling was the interest, not necessarily insurance. I
Sure.
believe.
Yeah, sure. So for me, I'd spent sort of the bulk of my early career in the large insurers. I'd been at Liberty Mutual. I'd been at a large brokerage as well, NFP. I was ready to take a bet, I think, on something. And one of my friends / mentors / former managers had left to start this crypto company. And I remember talking to him at the beginning of it, like, bro, what are you doing? Like, crypto, really? Like, I was definitely not a believer early days because I thought the government would kill it very quickly. But by the time I joined this company, I became more of a believer and started to see, that it was sticky. And so jumped in, was first hire after the two founders, and was there to sort of run ops, which was, you know what that means. That's firefighting at a small venture-backed company. But yeah, I mean, really cool kind of product idea. We basically were building a crypto crime product to save the crypto bros from themselves or from hackers. So as you guys all know or probably know, there's no FDIC or SIPC in the crypto world by design, right? It was meant to live outside of all of these regulations, but I think they started to realize after the billions of dollars hacked away over and over that they might want some, or at least we saw the opportunity to create some protections. I don't know that they'd seen it themselves, but yeah. So the product was basically the original product was protecting retail crypto investors from hacks and thefts, exploits, things like that. Learned that B2C in a new product category is challenging. Takes a lot of advertising. We had some cool ideas about distribution, and we'd go to some of the large exchanges in the world about how we wanted to embed, and then they would just create their own insurance product. So that was a tough learning. And then we did pivot to a commercial sort of offering. So we'd actually offer it to the exchanges themselves, which had more legs. And the company's still in existence. So I don't want to, I think they still have some opportunity for sure. But yeah, the biggest learnings were just that, hey man, what does it look like to start a company from, the bottom? I wasn't the founder, but I was right there next to them. And, different challenges along the way. We built a Bermuda carrier as well, which was a really big learning for me. So yeah, I mean, happy to share any more, but that was a very interesting part of my life, 4 years.
So I was reading something the other day where it talked about the risk for a startup isn't actually with the founders. It's really the first kind of like 20 to 30 employees that were the odds of making your money versus your time that you're spending on it is very low.
Now you tell me that, Doug.
Yeah, Dylan was a very early hire at Stable. You should have known better, man. It's the information's out there.
So that's a really good point for people to hear. And a different thing that TJ just brought up, which I think is worth stopping and talking about a little bit, is that concept of when you're building something new. And there's a difference between building a new company, which TJ also brought up, is a learning experience, right? You go from big carrier, big broker, tens of thousands of employees to startup world. That's a complete culture shock. But a lot of people talk about that. Shouldn't be news to most people who are jumping into it. But the next thing that TJ said, which is very interesting and something that I think I've learned a couple times now, is when you're trying to invent something truly 0 to 1, like a completely different thing, that adoption costs way more than anyone can imagine, right?
Yeah.
How you get to Uber was billions of dollars. Okay. When that's coming, and whether it's regulatory hurdles or it's just truly adoption from users, it's to do something completely new. It costs so much money on the marketing side. And that's what TJ just brought up. To get that awareness of something, I have been guilty of creating an entity that was way underfunded, where that was exactly the issue. And I don't think a lot of people really talk about that. They say, hey, I got this new idea. And just know your new idea, if it's truly an interesting new concept or something that only a couple of people are doing, but none of them are big yet, that your expense isn't building the company. Your expense is going to be getting the word out that this is something legitimate. And also then potentially having to essentially subsidize the users to use it, like, for example, like Uber did, just because I think it's one of the easiest, well-known examples.
Yeah. Well, so TJ, you brought up the couple things I want to dig in before we get to the Accelerant stuff in your show. The backgrounds maybe of the founders, I think would be interesting to learn a little bit about. And I'll put it back on me, with our MGA. Yeah, I make fun of some of the carrier people that got involved, which were basically net negative for the most part. But one thing that they were right about, and I was wrong about, was distribution. And we were selling a relatively low dollar product that needed a lot of education, for a relatively uneducated user base, or at least uneducated from a business perspective and complexity. And so selling things like business interruption for Uber drivers, a couple other innovations that were really great and needed, but people didn't really understand why. And so we were trying to sell it direct and really push the brokerage channel off longer than we should have. And the people who were kind of helping us think about this from a broader level were carrier people primarily selling through distribution. So they were right on that. I'm curious, your founders and you guys early on trying to go B2C, was it because they were from Liberty and maybe saw that model work for a bigger company? Or what was the initial kind of push towards that? And then you evolved with your time in the organization. You guys decided to go upstream, just because it wasn't working out. How did that evolution take place as well? So sorry, long question. What was the background of the founders, the desire to go B2C first, and then that evolution of going B2B after that?
Yeah, I'll keep it pretty high level on the founders, but they were, one of them was at Liberty as well. And we launched together at Liberty various retail products in the A&H space and in the P&C space as well. So fair, way to start potentially. And the other co-founder had a I actually had more of a crypto, kind of SF crypto background, and had done some, had worked on one of like the top 10 coins at the time. So really unique combo. I think the retail thing came out of, and this is just like my 2 cents, like he may have a different answer. I think he spent a few years going to the crypto conferences and sort of doing the man on the street interviews of what would you insure. And I think that was kind of right. Like you're probably going to get the bros and their responses versus the institutions and their responses. So I think that was the intent. In terms of distribution strategy, I don't think the retail strategy was to purposefully not consider going through brokers. It was just not going to be like, from my experience, or like, from at a brokerage, it was just not going to be worth their time. Like the low dollar value, unless it was ultra high net worth, right? Like if it was ultra high net worth and we could get to those brokers for sure. But if it was going to be, selling a guy with $10,000 of crypto, a policy that's worth $150 or whatever the price was, it was never going to be worth a broker's time. So that had to be a tech distribution strategy. But yeah, I would say to your point, one of the biggest learnings is, man, nail down distribution before you start anything. Almost, it's like, you don't have a really strong sense of what you're going to do to get that out there, then right. I mean, that's what makes a business. It seems obvious, but that's what makes a business go, right? So
the other thing I kind of heard you say, TJ, was how much you learned. And so, yes, there is like this risk for the first, X number of employees, but I guess it depends like how you're thinking about what comes after that. If, ultimately it takes longer for success, or you as an employee move on from that organization. And I think this segues nicely into what you're doing now, because it led, I assume, in some degree to that role, to what you're doing, and being able to see and do everything right from an early stage perspective. You just learn so much so quickly that you can then apply it back into the insurance space, or your vertical, whatever that might be. Maybe like I'd be curious to talk about that process, because there's probably people listening that are, thinking about the risk factors and like, hey, if this doesn't work, then I'm burnt. And I don't think that's the case. There's always a Phoenix opportunity for those people. How did you make the transition and get into what you're doing now?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. I think any opportunity should be measured for the blue sky, like amazing result, and then for the, risk return result, right? So, I'm a mathematician by training, my degree was actually actuarial science. So I'm more than just a strategic partnerships guy. So anyway, I did the math before going into the company about what upside could look like. I'm definitely as financially motivated as anybody, but I also did the sort of, the worst case, sort of a hedge reality as well. And that still was appealing to me. Man, how many opportunities am I going to get to go start a new product in a new category? Crypto was sexy at the time, it still is, but like, that felt like a feather in my cap that was worth trying, whether or not it worked out financially. And absolutely, it paid off in dividends in terms of learning. I learned so much more about sort of the reinsurance, part of the MGA game of the insurance market. I learned about building a Bermuda carrier. I learned about what it takes to try to scale an MGA from scratch to scale. And like you said, that is the reason I'm able to be in the role I am now at Accelerant, which is I'm trying to provide that level of sort of consulting based on my experience and the perspective I gained in those 4 years to our 280 MGAs. So, hey, I was in your seat at one point, trying to choose vendors, trying to build something. I can empathize with the paranoia and the fear of making these decisions, but also the fact that when you're small, you don't get the attention you want. So I'll dig in on that a little bit. When I was at Liberty Mutual, I was a bully, man. I like with the vendor community, I was like, you want to work with Liberty? Give me a deal. And they would most of the time, because it was, they wanted to work with us. Like we were launching new programs. So I was often in that seat of, hey, we need something. And then with the MGA, I'm like, please please let us use your tool. Please give us a deal. And sometimes that would work. And other times we get told to, F off. So I take both of those, experiences into my current role where, I can be a little bit more of a bully. I bully on the behalf of our 280 MGAs. It's not a bully. It's more of an advocate, I would say, because I think, a strategic partnership is a two-way thing, but it's, hey, like, here's the opportunity. let's get a deal, so that's sort of how.
Dylan, so Dylan used to negotiate all of my contracts, all of our contracts at the MGA, and was also a bully. I would love to see you two kind of like on opposite sides of each other. Dylan, just so you know, TJ's deal that he worked out with Turris, we are paying Accelerant to be a part of.
That's a fair deal. That's a fair deal.
Really good negotiator. I was not. I was like, yeah, let's get this thing done, whatever. Although I will say, and TJ said I couldn't say this on air, but I'm going to say it anyway. He did say that we are his favorite vendor. I think that's what I heard, something like that. But
TJ, when I worked with Doug, I forbid him from making decisions related to any kind of partnership. I'm like, you just bend over backwards. You gotta.
Such a nice guy, Dylan. Like, I'm the nicest guy in insurance.
You're a really nice guy, and
people don't think I am, but I really am. I really am.
I mean, you're kind of an ass, but at the same time, very helpful to people you like. Yes, kind. Sure.
I like to say kind. All right. Well, so TJ, let's get into the very cool things that you guys are doing, at Accelerant. And I think we were actually talking about this yesterday with Sam Robinson from Guy Carpenter about the proliferation of platforms, right, for MGAs.
Yep.
And you guys have several flavors, I think, that are either part of the organization or sister companies. So really cornering the market. But there's others that are popping up. And I think as Accelerants become successful, you're going to see that model copied. I think what you guys are doing, though, is still ahead of the curve as far as your specific role and what you're doing there. And I'll say this from what I saw last week, for the membership week, just like the community that you guys have built is very interesting. And again, I think, what you're doing is part of that, but it's also just a part of the culture, I feel like, where people want to go to that event. I feel like other people, other vendors or companies will have, customer appreciation weeks or whatever. And, some people will come. I feel like you guys had massive representation there. And then there's a lot of value being created at that event. So people coming on stage, kind of talking about what they've done that is successful. Obviously some AI conversation, the vendor marketplace that you guys put together. So I think it's the organization at whole seems to have that mission, but comes a lot from what you guys are doing, your platform specifically within the organization. So maybe talk a bit more about that and how you guys develop that and, where you're going with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give the credit to the top, to Jeff and the leaders. Like, they hammer in the message of member centricity, right? Every company is like, oh, we're customer centric, but I think they push it a little harder. And I think it's, we try to perform a little more than the average for our MGAs. I think, we're one of those, when you're a platform, you don't exist without the success of your downstream sort of customers who are actually your distribution, right? So you have to keep them happy to sort of to grow your own business. So it kind of is an easy flywheel. But yeah, I think, the way that I view it, so I worked at an NFP, right, in the past, and a Liberty Mutual. Liberty Mutual had Safeco, which was this group of independent agents. NFP had a broker membership organization as well. I've seen that work. I've seen that. This is just my, my perspective as I came in. I'm not saying I take credit for how we're doing it, but I've seen that sort of, hey, bring people together, create community, coalesce buying power, coalesce, insights and sort of learnings. And, you kind of build this, this behemoth of a group that can move things in the market together. So I think that ethos runs through the organization. I think, my group specifically, we call it member services. We're built to effectively view our MGAs almost as, I would say, almost like portcos, like we're almost like the operating partner for our MGAs, in that we want them to focus on what oftentimes, right, they're underwriter led. They're really strong at underwriting, insurance, specific operations. They might not know what they don't know about the rest of sort of entrepreneurship and building a business and transforming a business and choosing technology and building a team. And it's not to discredit their intelligence. It's just hey, man, I mean, again, going back to my MGA days, our heads were down, trying to get stuff done versus, how can we be strategic about everything, right? So if we can play that role, kind of seeing trends across the 280, MGAs, we're surveying them, we're talking to them every day, we're trying to figure out where their pain points are. If we can sort of see trends, things that are working, things that aren't, and sort of share that, broadly, and also act on it, go to the vendor market, figure out which tools are a fit for the things that they're saying they need. how much more are they going to love us versus all these other platforms that want to copy us, right?
Yeah. And that even came out like in conversations I would have. So I think I was surprised, and I knew this, like, your members are not all brand new MGAs, right? A lot of them have been in existence for decades, some longer, and had, joined Accelerant within the last year or two, or launched a new program within Accelerant as part of their broader operations. And it did often come up as just like, we think we're getting access to, obviously the capital and the exchange is great and needed, but to some extent, money's money, and risk, especially if you've been in operation successfully for 2 decades, right? You probably have a choice of platforms you can go work with, or reinsurers. What I heard a lot was just like, there is value add here that we're getting. And I think a large part of that is probably what you guys are being able to bring to the table.
So can I ask real quick how that works from a financial standpoint? You've got a, let's start with a new MGA, and they're coming to you, you're having the conversation, discussing using the exchange. Let's talk about what they get and also what that costs to them, right? How are they effectively making sure that you're compensated the right way? What you've got to build in something into that combined ratio essentially for Accelerant. And then it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Accelerant of course needs to bring value to the carriers themselves as well, right? So what are those chunks, that we're talking about? Let's actually get into some of the numbers. What are the carriers who are providing capacity expecting from Accelerant as far as return? And what is it that you're expecting from return in that program? Because they're going to have to figure out in that combined ratio, how do they do both of those things?
Yeah. I'm going to be a little dodgy and I'm not going to give like one specific number for everything, but I would say it's a bespoke actually sort of onboarding process per MGA. Like, each product type, each product category is going to have a different loss pick. Each product category is going to have a different sort of heuristic that you might want to look at that affects the financials. But in broad strokes, it's MGA gets a certain, commission that they're going to get no matter what. They have the opportunity by performance to get a loss performance sort of underwriting profit share.
Yeah.
Accelerant's fee is typically standard across programs. And sort of the benefit to, and so the reinsurer is factoring all of that in. They're factoring in that they're paying Accelerant X, they're paying MGA Y, and they also are on the hook for a little more if MGA does well, right? But all that speaks to the reinsurer because now they don't have to build all the operations to manage this MGA. They can participate in this MGA, in this risk exchange, and get access to niche underwriting experts through our platform versus them building an MGA practice. I mean, they might have an MGA practice as well, but rather than them building all the operations required to fight bordereaux and, manage MGAs and cut them and, find new ones, all those things they can rely on Accelerant for. So we earn our take through that. And
I agree. Just to be clear, you definitely earn it. I guess it's just figuring out where it is in the combined. So if an MGA is coming to you, where do they need to have, where's their target loss ratio that they need in order to make sure there's enough room for all of things? Because there's also, potentially, a retail commission that could be involved with this as well. If it's E&S, you have a wholesale retail combined commission that needs to be paid out. There's a lot of hands in the pot. So I'm just trying to figure out where does that target loss ratio need to land for them in order to make it make sense.
Again, I don't want to be too dodgy. It does change. It does depend on the product, right? Like we run an actual actuarial analysis on every product that's brought forward. If it's not something we just automatically super understand, I would say our average or our overall loss ratio, right, is public. It's something in the low 50s. So you might imagine that, some MGAs come in and they need to be better than that to justify their existence. And then some can be a little higher than that because their products expected to have more. So it's not one, one carte blanche loss ratio, but that's, you can sort of see where our average lands.
And you're pulling some fees as well from the capital, I assume. And what I'm also seeing, and I think is interesting, is because of the services you can offer upstream and kind of taking all of those operational needs and anything else that would take to run the program off people's plates, you're seeing capital participation that you maybe wouldn't normally see in, from a reinsurance perspective. Or if you looked at who it was, you'd be like, that's not a reinsurer. Like, that's a point. I think there's some really interesting capital diversification that you as a platform are starting to offer the broader insurance community. I'm sure globally, I mean, I'm seeing it in the US, but globally, I'm sure this is taking place as well, which is, again, like you're providing value there and you're able to capture some of that value for the organization.
And you're definitely going to get great participation coming to your annual event when it's in St. Thomas. I just need to throw that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not part of that selection team, but the selection team for our annual events are on the ball. Yeah, it's in my time, it's been St. Thomas and Nassau. Before that, I think they went to Cancun. And this is just for North America. We have an EU one as well that this year will be in Lisbon. Last year was in Mykonos. I think at some point it was in Monte Carlo. Like
you guys know how to do it. I got on the plane in Chicago. I had a layover, and it was all Accelerant people on the plane. And maybe going back to the loss conversation, Dylan, just like that was the discussion for 4.5 hours. And I just like heard little pockets of people talking about loss ratios, and it was just like an insurance plane. It's like they chartered.
It's the conversation that you surely were initiating most of the time, I'd imagine.
I had so much work to do. I was heads down. I was sitting next to Ian Connor, TJ. And we hadn't met before, and he has like, his Accelerant shirt on. I was like, I really want to have a chat, but I got like so much shit to do that if I don't get it done, I know the next 3 days is going to be a complete wash from an actual like ops productivity perspective. So I was heads down. And then Ian, I think like on the last night or something, he's like, hey, I think I was sitting next to you on the plane. Like you were a bit of an asshole. It didn't say anything to me. I was like, yeah, man, I knew if I would have gotten going, we would have just been chatting.
So that sounds like a really hard plane to get a free upgrade on, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I was in the back. They looked at they were like, where's your Accelerant employee badge?
You're sitting on the toilet. Sorry.
Yeah.
I want to jump in on something you said. So I'll say one of the big reasons I jumped to this company and joined this company was there's a lot of insurance, like PhD level stuff going on. Like Doug was touching on it. The risk exchange took a second to understand. I think I'm pretty smart. You see my fake degree up there, but it took me a second to like truly appreciate what was going on. Cause we do have reinsurers on our risk exchange, right? But we also have, bespoke sort of ILS structures and, and sort of other fund structures that allow, many people beyond sort of the reinsurance market to participate in the capital sort of, capital market. And we have a strong sort of capital team that builds these, really intricate, investment decks and goes out to market. And so like, it's a complicated business, but I think purposefully so. That's the moat, right? But they're doing quite a bit. And again, the role we're playing to all those people is, hey, we're going to keep to that illustrated return, right? We're going to keep to that, regardless of how the economics shook out. Like you were steered towards this sort of return, we're going to manage towards that. We're going to portfolio manage, and I mean, it's a pretty cool thing to see actually working.
Yeah. I think some people think of it as like a marketplace kind of feel and everything, and I don't think people realize how well it's really Accelerant is, just really managing massive amounts of assets. Really is what it looks like, and it's kind of neat to see, because I mean, is there anybody who's doing very close to what you're doing at this point? Who else is your competitor in the space?
Yeah, I think the hybrid fronting carrier, right, is what is the closest thing.
Yeah, but still, it's just not you guys.
It's not. I wouldn't say anyone's doing exactly what we're doing. People want to throw out, oh, you guys are like the American Lloyd's. I hear that every once in a while.
But again, it's not a marketplace. It's really like a managed.
Lloyd's. Yeah, so
it's like a managed service. It's really an interesting thing what you all are doing. Every time I hear something that's like Accelerant, it's not like Accelerant, is what I'm seeing.
Or I think what you see a lot is like people think this is a platform like Accelerant, and you find out it's actually Accelerant behind, still behind it. Numerous times. I won't name who it was, but I was having a conversation the other day with a customer who I thought was just a straight up competitor of Accelerant. And she's like, oh, I saw you were at the member week. It was a good time. I was like, oh, fuck, it's gonna be a rough conversation to have. And she's like, oh no, I was invited. I couldn't make it. I was like, interesting. She's like, yeah, we do X, Y, and Z. It's like, Very cool. Accelerants everywhere.
A lot of tentacles. A lot of tentacles in the.
I like
the,
it. Yeah.
You
Which is
mentioned
it's actually
the global reach. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Go on,
Peter.
sorry. No, I
What
was
was
just
I
saying you
saying?
mentioned the. Yeah. There's a delay there. I apologize.
Go,
I'll edit this
Peter.
out.
Go.
Peter, it's all Peter.
No, I was saying about the global reach, which amazed me. I remember going to Target Markets, TJ, probably 3-4 years ago and seeing kind of the Accelerant booth then and thinking, oh, that sounds interesting. Fast forward these 3 or 4 years and so many people I run into mention Accelerant. So I was in Madrid seeing an MGA there. They had a new line they were launching, Accelerant backed, speaking to another entity here in the UK who was launching a new product in France, Accelerant backed. So testament really to the success you guys have had. But my big question was, we aspire to have lots of entrepreneurial MGA people listening to this show, right? I'm sure they're super interested to get in touch with you and the team and find out more. Can you talk us through a little bit what it looks like if you're an MGA with an idea, either a current MGA or a new one to market? What would the process be like, 1, to get in touch with you, and 2, to get started working together?
Great question.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. It's a great question. And I'll do my best to do the sort of boxed pitch. But I would say we get every sort of inquiry and we look at them all. So probably don't hesitate. It's probably the first thing I'd say, to reach out. We'll give you the sniff test and let you know. But, I think we generally prefer existing MGAs to brand new MGAs. That there's obviously caveats to that. Brand new is different if it's an experienced underwriter with, knowledge of systems and sort of, due diligence and so on and so forth of the product. But yeah, we tend to go steer towards existing MGAs, but our MGA book ranges from everything from a, $1 million MGA to a $150 million MGA, right? So we're pretty broad in that. We have certain lines of business that we tend to sort of look for. It's not so boxed in that I could say, hey, don't bring us. I think I could tell you, don't bring us personal auto for now, but that might change. I think the best message is, if you have an idea, send them my way. I'll get you routed to the right people, and they'll let you know whether or not you're a fit. Maybe that's the best message to send to the market.
Don't copy Doug's ideas and then bring it to TJ, and then it'll probably be approved. I hear you. Okay.
Yeah. There's great idea, poor execution.
I'll also plug. Sorry to cut you off, Doug. I'll also plug Joanne from Sprouter. She's a good. I think she wants to play in the space of pre-vetting, because she does a lot of product development work. She's told me this, so I don't think I'm putting her out there like that. But I think she does a good job of pre-vetting, right? She can tell you whether your program looks mature or not, or looks like what maybe carriers want to see. So I'll give her a free plug there to younger or newer or just prospective MGAs. Maybe give her a shout as well to do a little due diligence before you bring it to the carriers.
Yeah, she's great. And also, I think whether it's her or you all, just with your openness, I think having those conversations sooner than later, right before you bring, vendors on, hire a team, that's worth having. And so it's nice knowing that you guys are open to that. One thing I would say is just maybe the fact that you guys have come about so quickly, because you're not that old of an organization, right? This is maybe a couple of years before COVID this started, and then really the growth has come over the last 4 or 5 years or so. Probably just shows how much this was needed in the space. You're riding tailwinds for sure of E&S growth and all of that, but even so, I think just the fact that this happened so quickly for you all,
MGA growth and E&S growth, right? Both kind of coming together.
Yeah. TJ, so I want to make sure we talk about your podcast before we're done here. We're getting up on time, but maybe, I found a ton of value, obviously, out of what you guys have built. And I think you're great, kind of combining a bunch of potential customers for vendors. And so we know there's vendors listening to the show. How should they think about approaching you and, being able to get deals, paying you to work with them, like we were able to build?
You're not even paying us. I don't know where this paying us thing is.
Yeah, half of our revenue goes right to Accelerate. But happily, I write that check every day.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Yeah, you guys are great partners, but How does somebody think about, from a vendor perspective coming to you? Because that's one of your primary roles, right? Is like vetting vendors, hearing the need from your community. And maybe this can try and, help your job a bit as well. It's like, what are you looking for right now? What's some blank spaces, right, from a vendor perspective that you would love to see? And then how should they be thinking about approaching you and working with you?
Yeah, no, I think I appreciate the opportunity to share that. I think, at the high level, we want to find vendors that want to serve the MGAs, right? Like, I think that sounds like an obvious filter, but there's a lot of vendors that think they want to serve MGAs, but really want to serve only the $500 million MGA with their pricing. So I think, first of all, we're looking for those that want to serve MGAs that have built a specific solution for an MGA pain point that we're looking at. We get a lot of generalized, tooling sometimes for, like, if you come to me like, we do IT solutions, it's like, okay, like or we do like AI workflows broadly, it's like, no, so I like vendors that have a specific solution with specific results. Like, sometimes we do want to be the testing ground if it's something that sounds so novel and such a fit for something that we've heard from MGAs that just hasn't been sort of solved for before, then yeah, we're open to doing POCs and things like that. But I think generally we want to work with vendors who have, a lot of times the vendors that we bring on have been vouched for by someone in our MGA community. Like the bulk of them came across because someone in our MGA community said, hey, have you guys talked to these guys? Like, they were really good for me. I think they'd be good for other members. So a lot of my role is just taking that feedback and like making sure everyone else knows how great this person feels about that one. But yeah, I think, the last year I was definitely the best person to cold call. I think I took every cold email and every cold call almost. I took the demo just to like really build that, like, I know what the market is. Now I would say I'm a little more refined. Like, it's a little more tactical in what we're looking for. And I wouldn't say there's like, I think we've reached depth and breadth of our Accelerant marketplace in terms of options, but I think I'm still taking calls with, things that are laying in that category of, oh man, they've done something for someone already, or it's such a specific, solution that no one else is saying that they're doing this exact thing. Let's definitely take a look at it. So that's the steer. Definitely reach out no matter what. I look at every email. If I don't respond, it's probably because, it's a little too broad or something. But yeah, I think definitely reach out. I think it's an opportunity to get into the MGA market if you aren't already. Like, we're happy to be that conduit so long as, you're committed to it and really want to serve the MGAs.
So the 75th document comparison AI you're not looking at right now?
No.
You actually might be in a very interesting spot to, maybe you don't want to go too public. Maybe this is an episode that you want to save for yourself. It's like actually saying, like, generally, this AI is bullshit, or this group of AI is bullshit, versus like, this is actually useful over here, or here's how it could be useful. Just given the number of vendor calls that you've been willing to take, I'd imagine you have an interesting data set that you can talk about there.
Yeah, no, we end up, honestly, like, one thing that's really cool about this role is that, similar to how we support our MGAs as an operating partner, we also sometimes end up supporting our vendor partners in that, not in the operating partner sense, but in like a product or product roadmap sense. We're like, hey, this is like 60% of what MGAs want. You probably want to add these 30 things if you want to, like, really, better serve our MGAs. So that's always interesting. And we've done that with some AI vendors, and we've avoided others. But I would say, the obvious use cases in AI are, yes, submission triage. I think everyone knows that one by now. I think the interesting thing that's happening now with AI is how I reposted an article from one of my colleagues yesterday, how, like, the computer use and the Claude cowork and all that stuff are coming out. I think that's gonna, I don't know. I think the model providers are gonna start challenging the workflow guys, like, or they already are, like, if they don't know it. Because if you don't need to build a bespoke, like, or buy a bespoke workflow tool to solve your problem, but you can just tell Claude to build the workflow tool on your computer and click around, like, that's gonna be an interesting sort of evolution.
Yeah, check out Figma and how that's been going for them.
Oh yeah, Claude design killed Figma. Claude, they're just killing industry by industry. Like, so Yeah, I don't have any specific workflow to call out as BS, but I think like
I wouldn't put you on the spot like that, but
yeah,
he would, just to be clear. But
well, yeah, maybe I would. Well, no, TJ still likes me, so I feel like I want to keep that going for a while. But was it like maybe one last thing on that, like just if you can, start doing something with Accelerant. I love the way you guys push us, and I'm sure you push other vendors as well. And you do give us ideas, like you said, like here's some things you guys should be thinking about, or you guys come to us often. And you're like, have you thought about doing this, or we could really use this? Do you have this? So I would say from, if you are an earlier stage vendor with not, the product, is not fully built, you have a good partnership, what the information you guys give and the guidance, I think is, different than a lot of other customers. All right, I want to get to your podcast, which we based this show off of. Tell us more about it. You got a couple episodes in the can. I listened to the first one. It was very good. You and Adam, one of your MGA partners that you all have, and something cool that you had all built together that you had kind of helped source, I think, from the platform perspective. So tell us a little bit more about Ecosystem Unfiltered.
No, appreciate the opportunity. I mean, we're pretty much just stealing what you guys are doing.
Nah.
Candidly, no.
It's not going to go well for you then.
TJ, I don't want to get you fired, but like you saying that publicly, people might be like, TJ's decision-making skills right now. I don't know, man.
No, it's not exactly that, but I think, I like podcasts. I'm a podcast guy, so I listen to podcasts all the time. Usually business, like just like the books I read, it's never like fiction. It's usually like business or like, sort of interesting things that make me feel like I'm learning, even if they're really just banter, but like feel like I gained some perspective from them. And yeah, as we're thinking of sort of the other spokes in our building a community wheel, but also, in building a community wheel, but also honestly socializing this Accelerant marketplace we built, we thought a podcast would be a great way, right? Like, hey, on the community side, we get asked from our members about learning and development. They want to know more about each other. They want to know more about what's going on. We have some other spokes in that sort of building community wheel, but a podcast felt like another way to sort of just, hey, like hear from your peers and some of the vendors, and maybe you take one or two things from these podcasts and hopefully they're entertaining enough for you to listen to them through, right? On the other side, I was the last year building this Accelerant marketplace, and I'm telling partners, hey, join us, it'll be worth your time. It's worth giving us, this preferred pricing. You'll get some business out of it. I quickly realized if this thing is just a directory, nothing's ever going to happen on it, right? Like if it's just a list of logos and all that, then, we get passive. And the reason it was built in the first place was because we already get passive inbound requests from our MGAs about different tools. So those will always happen and we will always match make that way. But I thought in order to make the marketplace feel live and for people to get context about the different vendors on there without it being this like sales pitch or newsletter of just their sales materials and things like that, I thought a podcast would be an interesting way to, bring life to the marketplace as well. So serving two things, it's build sort of shared knowledge and shared sort of intelligence on one hand and community. And then on the other hand, hey, like it's a solution spotlight for you. So like if you're having a problem, maybe you're going to learn through one of these podcasts what worked for someone else or what this vendor is doing that's interesting to you. So that's the intent.
The one with Rachel, or maybe there's others out now, but the one that I saw, I think was the first one where you guys just dug in very deep on like what you helped them solve or what the marketplace kind of helped them solve, which I think was interesting to be able to say like, okay, now here's a roadmap almost that we can give you of the vendors and the specific problem we as an MGA had and how it was solved. And you make that public. I think it's public, right? It's anybody can go watch that, which is like, just great. Even if you're not working with Accelerant, you get that education, which is, we try to do that. We do it very poorly. There's really no education at all going here.
That's not true. I've definitely gotten a tidbit or two about what not to do. No, I'm joking.
What not to do in an MGA, what not to do in a podcast. Like, really, it's good stuff.
And on that, we're ending the show.
Yeah. It's last episode. We've been asked to stop so many times. It's crazy. Peter, this is actually, I'm really excited to hear what TJ has to say about our tried and true question.
Yeah, as TJ likes podcasts, you probably heard this question to a few of our guests. We like to end with your legacy and what you see that as being?
Legacy. All right. That's a good one. Okay. I mean, I'll take it to like my grandpa. My grandpa was kind of one of like first educated, like in Nigeria, first educated guy that ended up creating this, ethos around his family, around education and sort of community and things like that. And sure enough, all of my parents are the perfect example of Nigerian children. They're all like 3 degrees deep, like just like full on, go-getters. I think, in terms of me, I think maybe something in that sense, like building community, educating people, bringing people along. And the best thing I've ever felt was, all right, this is going to be another like shameless family plug. My younger brother was a Dallas Cowboy for a number of years. And the first,
What?
So
I didn't know that. I did a lot of research on you, man. I didn't know find that.
And just that's one example. It's one that I thought would get your eyes going a little bit, but like no better feeling than having been part of his journey, right? And like I was the first one to play football in my family and try to share. I'm not going to take credit for where he got to, but I shared what I learned and pushed him along. At least played a part in his role in his journey, and seeing him succeed was like the best feeling ever. So if I can do that in my career or in life with others, like whether that's startup MGAs or startup tech companies or whatever that looks like in the end, like I think that would be pretty cool as well. And then obviously family legacy, hopefully have a great, journey with the family as well. But yeah, hopefully that kind of answers your question.
That's
amazing.
I like that.
All right, what position did you play?
He was a running back.
No, what did you play?
Me, I was a running back and safety.
Okay.
Did you play at a university level or did you play in high school?
No, just high school.
Just high school in Texas.
Just high school in Texas, yeah. No, I had D2 offers. I had some D2 offers, but they were, they were smaller stadiums than my high school stadium oftentimes. And it's like, oh, I'm going to go to the University of Texas and have fun. Like, let's go.
Yep.
Get an actuarial degree.
Nerd out.
Also, being a running back and getting an actuarial degree do not always go together due to brain injury. That's not.
You see that I'm not an actuary anymore, right? So I quickly was identified as the not fit. When my first job, I was an actuary. They're like, you seem like a BD guy. You sure are yapping a lot. Go
Did you sit for any of the tests?
I actually never sat for any of the tests. I got my first actuarial role without it, and I just quickly realized I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. And I was like,
good.
How do I join that other team over there? They're talking to people. Like, let's go.
Yeah, they're going out and having fun.
They're partying. Yeah. I'm like on Excel all day.
I just noticed the Chelsea scarf is in the background as well.
I have a Chelsea scarf. Yep.
Peter, is there a bit of a rivalry there? Well, no, because what is it?
Norwich? Oh, not with my team. My team's Norwich, so we have a rivalry with one team only, which is Ipswich. But I know Chelsea, they're not doing very well at the moment. That was my touting.
Yeah, man. How to offender guest more, Peter.
It didn't come up. Yeah.
Ouch. Well, it's
lucky we only spotted it now.
There's room for all of you in the Netherlands family. I'll happily take you on to support our domination of the US in the coming.
Well, that is a good question for TJ to really end on. Are you going to be supporting USA or family ties to Nigeria in the World Cup?
Always both.
Nice.
Always both. World Cup's coming up. I live in Jersey City, and they're going to be playing like right down the street. So we're going to have to attend a game or two for sure.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. All right, buddy. Thank you so much for coming on, chatting with us. This is a lot of fun. I was looking forward to this.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for the invite.
And I will say, this episode was way better than the one we did with Zuck. We can say that, right?
Wow. I don't condone that.
Let's send a note immediately to our producer to edit that right now.
Doug was trying to figure out one line that would end both podcasts, and he just figured it out.
Yeah. I'm recording this.
It's a career ender.
We're recording it, and I'm sending it right to Zuck unedited right now. It's be the first thing we do.
All right, minute 105, send to Zuck. Okay.
Yeah. All right, buddy. TJ, thank you so much for taking the hour with us. And man, continued success and love to see what you're doing. And great luck with the podcast as well. Yeah,
we'll have to do a reverse. We'll have to do a reverse with you guys on ours.
Well, come on. We'll make it a light episode. It'll be your least watched, but if you guys need filler space, we're there for you.
Good stuff.
All right, man. Have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much, TJ.
All right, thanks. Bye.
What a cool guy.
Nice guy.
He's the living embodiment of there are cool people in insurance. I know we're not. People look at us and checks out, but TJ, is just a fun guy, fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
You say that, Doug. I've hosted events with you. You are the most popular man in InsurTech.
That's not true. I'm the
And
most
now you
hated
get for
man.
events.
Most hated man.
Yeah. Actually, I'm gonna second Peter.
People love to come and see if I'm gonna fail. That's what it is. I think it's like
other than evidently
well known.
Yeah. Other than your, what was it, the Chicago one with
Oh my God.
four
Well,
people?
we don't talk about that. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that on the
And
show.
Peter, you were involved with that one?
Well, it's probably a situation where I forgot to send the invites again, right?
Exactly. That looks like it.
sent it to the wrong group.
Yeah.
That was fun. We had a lot of room to ourselves. So it was nice. Very exclusive event.
Yeah. Love dancing room.
Yeah, a lot of dancing room. Yeah, we obviously a very cool organization. We need to get some of their MGAs out. I actually have a list of guests from going to that event, plus our surprise guest, Dylan, that I'm bringing on.
I want to know the surprise guest.
It's a surprise. Can't let you know. It's not Paul. I think somebody ruined that surprise, but I mean, it wasn't
I imagine
Dylan.
we'll see the guest when you send the invite, right? So,
But I'm going to do a separate invite.
Oh,
But Peter, you'll see
Very
the guest.
sneaky.
That's fine. This is Dylan is going to pop on and have no idea. It's going to be fun. I like this. We got to keep people interested in watching the show.
Is the first initial G?
No, that would be great.
I
Though.
got him.
Oh
I
my
got
God.
him.
Oh,
Oh, that would make my
I'd
day. Please
love
do
to
that.
have her on. We
Uh,
should do that sometime.
Please don't. Please don't.
that
Okay,
would be
so
fun.
I really don't know who it is. This is really
Yeah,
interesting.
it's a surprise. I still got to make his deal. He's a hard one
What's
to
a
pin
he?
down.
Okay, I already cut down 50%. Sounds
Yeah,
That's a
good.
guy. That's a guy.
And of the insurance
Well,
industry, more like
I mean,
60%.
yeah, in
70%?
insurance. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So
it's the
all right.
broad list of people still.
All right.
You're not. I don't think you're gonna guess who it is. Yeah, you'll love it. Like when he
Do I
comes
know this
on,
person? Do I know the person personally?
I thought you knew him better, and then I brought you up, and he's like, "Who's Dylan? Never heard of him."
I get that a
before."
lot.
I'm
I get that a
joking,
lot.
I'm joking.
So I
No,
do know this
you
person.
Know him. You like him, and I think you guys have met before, but you know a lot about him. Put it that way. Know a lot about him. He's quite public
Evan
on different platforms.
That's it. That's Evan.
Do you know? What?
be pretty amazing if it was.
Evan?
Evan. Yeah, my boy Evan from Chubb.
Oh,
Chubb CEO.
that would be amazing. When? Yeah, Chubb never got back to us. I feel like they're
I wonder why.
dodging us.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
called.
I'm
I've told them I'm going to cancel my policy, my homeowner's policy. They're very concerned about that. I know.
Oh, I like the flex there.
What a-
It's like,
Ask you guys
Why is Chubb a
permission.
flex? I don't get that. Somebody else told me that.
no, they do a lot.
Salvucci
They do
put
a lot
me
of
into
they
it.
do a lot of high value.
Oh.
Oh. Well,
Salvucci
Salvucci
is
put
selling
me
you
in.
personal insurance.
Yeah, Salvucci's my guy. He does everything for me. I don't think he's happy
He-
about it. He actually did.
He's
He
a
made me
commercial
get
guy.
a,
He's a commercial guy. He's just doing that.
He is a
just
commercial
suffering
guy.
through it because of you.
He is. And he did make me get a personal auto policy through. He's like, I'm not going to do that. I think I was shopping one weekend for a car. I was like, hey, can you give me a quote for this? And he did it. And then I was like, all right, I also need this one. He's like, what are you doing? Like, just go to Geico or whatever. Stop bothering me. Like, I'm at lacrosse. Leave me alone. Good. If it was commercial though, he'd be all over it. He'd
Of
cancel
course.
his
I know.
kid's game. I've seen him do it for commercial policy.
All right.
Um,
Plug
I'm
it
going-
aside.
Yeah, I'm going in a few weeks, guys, to, well, when this goes out, I'll be going in a week maybe to William Pitt's event in Barcelona,
Oh,
the
nice.
MGA Rendezvous.
ooh.
I might have to do a sneaky little solo reporting
I
job
think you
there,
should.
and maybe get
Yeah.
a couple of guests on.
That'd be great.
Man on the ground.
Maybe we should do Age of the MGA in Espanol or something. Yeah.
Oh yes, Donde Biblioteca.
Doug, maybe Alice will listen to that show if we can finally get her on board.
Maybe. I had a 1 hour layover in San Juan, and I texted her. Was like, can't hang out, or I'm on a plane. But she was on vacation. She wasn't even the one time I was in Puerto Rico. She wasn't on the island. She probably knew. She's like, I just got to make sure I'm going to get off island if
Yeah.
Doug's coming.
You're a natural disaster.
Not waiting to happen. Yeah, Peter, I like this idea. Do a little. Well, one, get some more GAs, get them over.
Yeah.
I want to line up some more guests.
Yeah, there's a fair
And then
few signed up. Mhm.
Are you gonna? I assume William's gonna be quite busy, so probably not gonna
Yes.
have him.
Yeah.
Uh,
He's just running the show and all. Though I will say
position.
that he's of course a much younger organization, but the guys at ITC, they're all pretty available.
Yeah.
I got to say, like Bill, Jay, Caribou, they're they had such a management team, and of course I know there's been a sale and such as well, but even after even just a few years, they still have thousands of guests, and but they've done such a great job of getting it all managed. And the whole point is that there shouldn't be these crazy fires on the day of, right? All of it is just managed out, and so they did just an incredible job, making sure they had the right structure.
William seems like he has his shit together, so I bet it's
He
very
does
similar.
seem like though it is like this is a first year, right, for a big conference.
Even so, I bet it's like goes off without a hitch. Speaking of Bill, we need to go golfing with him, Dylan. I forgot about that. We promised him a golf trip.
That time seeing him at Top Golf with the smoothest swing I've ever seen in person, I was like,
I'm bringing my ringer. I'm bringing my son.
He has a better swing than me, so great. But Bill is like,
Bill is smooth. Peter, we got to get you out golfing sometime.
I'm terrible at golf.
Yeah,
well, Peter, you and I can we can just partner up. Let them go ahead.
Yeah,
we'll try to hit
play the
them.
par 3 course or something. Yeah,
exactly.
What I would love to do is go. I do like watching golf. I watch quite a bit, and I love the Masters again this year. So that's one of my dreams is to go and watch the Masters live. So maybe we should do a little Age of the MGA trip to the Masters.
Our style is way more going over to Scottsdale and doing the waste management.
Phoenix, waste management open.
We are
true. There are no phones allowed at the Masters, right? So I couldn't even do any recording or anything.
Yeah, we're more of a waste management kind of group here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, just in general, or the waste management?
Yes, all of it, all of that. Yes.
Hey, little known fact about me: I spent a summer being a garbage man in high school. It was very disgusting job.
Are you serious?
Rode the back of the truck.
You've also been a Manny.
I've been a Manny.
You've also married people, which is sort of related to the Manny.
I'm an ordained minister. I went to
At
space
a small
camp.
scale trying to run an MGA. Yeah.
Tried to run an MGA.
You went to space camp?
Went to space camp.
Wow.
What else have I done?
How old were you for space camp?
I was 3rd grade. Yeah. I worked at Walmart in the sporting goods and electronics department.
That checks out.
That actually sounds fun. Yeah.
It was really boring. Very boring. What else?
Like try on all the equipment and stuff.
Oh, I mowed lawn for about 2 weeks. Did not make that. That was a lot of my skin's not right for outdoors. Just like I got burned very quickly. We'll do a job episode, job fair.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Well, we should list our CVs.
Peter, you ready for my 2? I think most interesting is Repo Man, like taking back cars, stealing cars.
It is
cool.
Yeah,
that's pretty up there. Also, back in the day, because I'm old, when paintball was a thing, I was a paintball referee and helped. That's one of my earliest jobs, actually. So,
is paintball not a thing anymore?
I mean, it's not a thing like it was then. I think airsoft took over that.
What's airsoft?
It's where they get the little plastic pellets. They do a lot of like mill simulations where like full big outdoor things, people are all in camo and everything. So I think airsoft has taken over the paintball space for the most part. But
I didn't know any of this.
I've only been paintballing once. Won a bunch of tournaments in paintball. I was playing all the time. Yeah.
Were you going to go pro ever? Pro paintball?
Never thought that was an option.
Is pro paintball just the military? You just go to the military?
No, very different thing. They're like most of the pro guys are doing it in those. I can't even remember what it's called. It's been so many years since I've detached from it, but they've got all these inflatable things, and they're in a very unrealistic battleground. Right where I was working was called the Splat House in Charlottesville, Virginia. Yeah. And it was.
It could also be a different type of institution. Yeah.
It was in an old. Oh my god! It was. You messed me up with that one. Thanks. It was in an old factory / warehouse space, and that was epic. That was one of the best spots I've ever played.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I'm learning all.
I'm going to show you my summer jobs, Doug, from school, which was fun.
You gonna share?
Ooh, here we go. Yeah. What is this?
This is me working as Maxie the mouse, Pettit's Animal Adventure Park.
That is amazing.
No
Maxie
way.
Is a female mouse.
You had to like
With-
sway the hips a little bit.
Collaborates with, as you can see in this image, Bubbly Bingo the Clown. 3 live shows a day, guys. Very fun.
Holy shit, Peter.
Wow.
I don't know what
Peter,
this, I don't know what this
does
is.
Peter win? Does
I think he gets something.
It was one summer. Lifeguard was another summer. That was also all right.
Yeah, that's pretty.
See, I see that
like,
with you. I didn't see a mouse. Like if I had to guess, I would have.
Yeah.
Lifeguard was one of the possibilities. Maxie the Mouse was not one of the possibilities.
It was super hot in that costume, you know.
I would imagine.
Really hot.
Yeah.
That was one of the hottest summers we've ever had in England. Ugh.
This is
Good times, though.
listeners right now. This is a portal into our lives you don't normally get. So here you go. Like, eat up.
Repo
Yeah,
Man,
we've lost a few subscribers from this
Maxie
last
the
5 minutes.
Mouse,
Yep.
Ordained Minister, Garbage Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do it all. We do it all. We're like half the economy right here.
People listen to this, go to sleep. They've long since drifted off. Right?
Hearing our baritone
All right.
voices.
All right. We'll end this. We got a little bit of a hiatus, guys. We're not going to be seeing each other for a while. Quite sad.
All right.
about it.
Oh, God.
Maybe we can text each other.
Yeah, when
Text
when
each other
is the
good
next
night.
one? My goodness.
I'm going to text
Just
you
got
both
1
good
week,
night.
1 week gap, right? Yep.
Oh, yeah, next Friday. Well, I'm still
all
going to text tonight. I'm going to text you both good night.
All right.
Thanks for
Nice.
listening, everyone. Anyway, please
All
follow the page as always. We love that. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
Bye, everybody.